it's a good news for Beatle fans, but not good news for Monkees fans because we still don't have a proper biopic. But the Beatles, each of them, are getting their own biopic. That's right, you heard that correctly. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Amy. Paul and John already have biopics. Yes, that is correct. Paul and John have a shit ton of biopics. They always had biopics, but Ringo and George have never gotten their own biopics. Anytime you see George or Ringo in a biopic, they're barely in the movie. Like, if it's a Beatle movie, they're there, but they're barely there. If it's a movie about Paul or John or heck, even Linda or Yoko, they are barely there. They are barely there. But now that now that George and Ringo are finally getting their own movies, I am so excited because George and Ringo, they're good too, okay? Ringo, he's innocent, okay? My man did nothing wrong. And George was never just a quiet Beatle. He had a lot of ideas too. Alright, now that my hair's all brushed out, I can read this article about Beatle movie. Okay, but also, yeah, Monkees still don't have any biopics. So sad. When will we get one? Have no idea. Anyways, so yes, they even posted on their Instagram that they're getting a biopic, more biopics. There have always been a bunch of biopics, as I mentioned before. Elliot Roberts did a video about all the Beatle biopics he watched. That also includes Stuart Sutcliffe or whatever, who was a friend of the Beatles and unfortunately died. And don't forget, Brian Epstein's getting a biopic too. I mentioned that. There's already been like so many things I've done so far about the Beatles, and it's crazy. But I'm a Monkey channel, not really a Monkey channel, but you know what I mean, bro. You know what I mean. So, the Beatles are getting the big screen biopic treatment again in not just one film, but a Fab Four of films that will give each band member their own spotlight, all of which are to be directed by Sam Mendes. For the first time, the Beatles, long among the stingiest right granters, are giving full life and music rights to a movie project. Now, this is something I failed to mention in the beginning. Anytime there was a Beatle biopic, it was very hard to get music. An example being the Linda McCartney biopic. That was not the Beatles, that was a cover band. So you weren't hearing the Beatles singing I Want to Hold Your Hand or any other song, you were hearing a cover band. Which... And what's funny though is that in the John and Yoko biopic, they had John's music. So I guess, well, I mean, Yoko did tend help with that biopic, so who am I to say anything? Sony Pictures announced Monday, which was yesterday. I can't believe this, bro. A deal that may dwarf all music biopics that have come before it, with the stories of Paul McCartney, John Lennon, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr spread out over a quartet of films. The films, conceived by Mendes, are expected to roll out theatrically in innovative fashion, with the movies potentially coexisting or intersecting in theaters. Precise release plans will be announced at a later date, but Sony is targeting for a 2027 release date. McCartney, Starr, and the families of John Lennon and George Harrison have all signed off on the project through the band's Apple Corps Ltd. Sony Music Publishing controls the rights to the majority of Beatles songs. And, there's more. Sorry, I thought there was more. I thought there was less, I mean. I am honored to be telling the story of the greatest rock band of all time. Okay, well then, don't go too far there, Mendes. And excited to challenge the notion of what constitutes a trip to the movies. That's what he said in a statement. Each film will be from the perspective of a Beatle. So, I don't know what order exactly. That's what I am concerned about. What order are they going for? I think my theory is that they're going to go from John, George, Paul, and Ringo, because John met George first and then Paul and then Ringo? Or did he meet Paul first and then George and then Ringo? Because Ringo was in a different band before and they had Pete Best as their drummer before, so that's all I'm really mainly concerned about. You know what I mean. No, cause that'd be like if the Monkees got separate biopics and they use the same format. Like, who would come first then in that case? Cause we have Mike and Mickey and Davy and Peter, but they all really have interesting backstories. Mike married Phyllis and moved to Los Angeles to pursue his dreams. Mickey was a child actor. Davy was on Broadway. Peter was a hippie. Yeah, Peter really didn't do much, and I respect him for that. But we're getting distracted. We intend this to be a uniquely thrilling and epic cinematic experience, 4 films told from 4 different perspectives, which tell a single story about the most celebrated band of all time, said producer Pippa Harris. To have the Beatles and Apple Corp's blessing to do this is an immense privilege. The Beatles' most foray into film were in their early years. Between 1964 and 1970, they appeared in 5 movies: A Hard Day's Night, which was the inspiration for the Monkees TV show, and the anime Yellow Submarine in 1968. They've, of course, been the subject of many documentaries and a lot of biopics. Most recently, though, Peter Jackson's 2021 The Beatles Get Back. In 2023, they reunited with the aid of AI in the newly released song Now and Then. The recording was made possible by technology used by Jackson on Get Back and featured a music video made by the New Zealand director. Attempts to dramatize the Beatles story have been more sporadic and less impactful. A 1979 biopic made when Lennon was still alive called The Birth of the Beatles was produced with Beatles original drummer Pete Best as an advisor. The 1994 indie drama Backbeat chronicled Lennon's relationship with Stuart Sutcliffe before the Beatles were famous. Nowhere Boy starred Aaron Taylor Johnson as teenage John Lennon. I don't know if I mentioned those before, but yes, that's very true. The 1994 movie Backbeat was kind of more about Stuart Sutcliffe. And also, fun fact about that biopic, the person they picked to play Paul also played Paul in the Linda McCartney biopic. I just thought it'd be fun to point that out because it's literally just the same dude, and I don't think anyone would have noticed except for me because I have no life. In the last decade, music biopics have become a big business. Box office hits like Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocketman, and Elvis have set Hollywood executives chasing the next jukebox blockbuster. Over President's Day weekend, Bob Marley, One Love, produced with the Marley Estate, was the #1 movie in theaters. A Michael Jackson biopic is in production, as well as a Bee Gees biopic and the Amy Winehouse one. Theatrical movie events today must be culturally systemic. Sam's daring, large-scale idea is that and then some, said Tom Rothman, chair and chief executive of Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group. The combination of Mendes' team with the music and the stories of 4 young men who changed the world will rock audiences all over the globe, Rothman said. We are deeply grateful to all parties and look forward ourselves to breaking some rules with Sam's uniquely artistic vision. Right off the bat, I know what you're thinking. Amy, do you think the Monkees will be even mentioned in any of these? Because Davy Jones was there when they performed the Ed Sullivan Show. And Ringo collabed with them with that Pizza Hut commercial, and Peter helped George with one of his albums. Good question. No, I was talking to a friend about this, and she made a very good point that there's no way they would mention the Monkees because a lot of bands came and went by. There were a lot of bands inspired by the Beatles, here, there, everywhere. There was a lot of bands, and the Monkees were just, one of them. Yeah, the Beatles met the Monkees, and they even liked the TV show, but at the end of the day, guys, we're never gonna see the Monkees in a Beatles biopic. I'm so sorry to crush all your hopes and dreams, but this is the truth. Maybe we'll see Davy if they show the Ed Sullivan Show, if they recreate that, but that is wishful thinking. And also, if we see Peter in the George biopic, maybe that will be okay. Maybe that'll give us hope. But then again, I should probably address this in this video too about why we might not get a proper Monkees biopic. Guys, I feel like, and this is just my theory, but the main reason why we haven't gotten a proper Monkees biopic yet is the casting. You would think the details would be easy. This is such an easy, story to do. These 4 men became rock stars because they were in a TV show about 4 men who were rock stars. But it's the casting. It really is just all coming down to the casting. You need to find a 5'3" Manchester man who can sing and dance. If you can find that, you have a Monkees movie. You need to find a man from Texas with a really strong accent, like Mike Nesmith's accent. If you can find that, you have a movie. If you don't fuck up the details, you have a movie. It all comes down to casting, and it all comes down to the details. That's why me and my friend were kind of concerned about what they're going to do with these Beatles biopics, because they have permission from Paul, Ringo, the family of John and George. But, that's kind of a problem. Bohemian Rhapsody was a good music biopic. I'm not gonna say it wasn't, but it also had flaws. I mentioned this in a video when I was interviewing my friends about the Monkees biopic. That movie, even when Brian and Roger helped with that movie, it didn't really, have everything in it, and also changed some things, which makes kind of no sense. So, like, yeah. I'm not outright saying that these 4 Beatle biopics are going to tank. We've had plenty of biopics that have been good and bad and meh. I'm not saying that the movies are going to tank so hard because the families are helping with this and they have the rights to the music and they could just play whatever they want at the wrong time. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just worried that they might leave out some details. An example with the Monkees TV movie biopic thing, Peter and Davy's fight. Okay, first of all, didn't happen that way. It did not happen that way, and that's a key example of messing up details. Peter didn't punch first. I mean, Davy did, I think. Yeah, Davy punched because he got really angry. He was in a grumpy mood, and Peter was like trying to calm him down, and Davy punched him. So then Peter punched back, and Davy had to get stitches above his eyebrow, which you can kind of see in Rainbow Room footage when they're filming. He's hiding it with his bang. You can kind of see it like around here. Next time you look, you'll notice it like around there. And that's just a key example of messing up details. This, it's so complicated. I'm excited. Don't twist my words. I just have concerns. And I will review, like, the biopics, but not all together. Elliot Roberts already did something like that, and I don't want to copy him. I mean, so I'm just going to review them as they are, as movies. When I get back to movie reviews, I will be reviewing the John and Yoko biopic, and eventually review the Linda McCartney biopic. And then I think that's it, because there's something else I can say about the other biopics. Like, again, Elliot Roberts did my job for me, and he's been on YouTube longer than me, and he's got more subscribers than me, and he's cooler than me, and let me know what you guys think about these 4 upcoming biopics. I think it's crazy that we're going to have more Beatle biopic stuff in 2027 when we haven't even gotten Midas Man yet, which is Brian Epstein's upcoming biopic. So many biopics. So little time. When are the Monkees gonna get a biopic? Listen, Hollywood. Listen to me very carefully. All we have is Mickey and the families of Mike, Peter, and Davy. Hurry up, okay? Hurry the fuck up. Hurry up. Hurry up with a proper Monkees biopic. Don't give me that TV shit, okay? Don't give me none of that. I want everything. I don't even care if the Monkees get a biopic TV show, because that also wouldn't be so bad. Because then you wouldn't leave out details, because every episode would be jam-packed with details. It's the perfect idea, though. I don't know, man. Movie, TV show, musical. Oh, God. Musical. We're getting into that soon. I'm going. I'll see you all later, man. I'm out of here.